going on, everyone? So, Rich Paul and LeBron James, Lakers, everybody, because you know that this is all tied into that, are really doing double time trying to keep other teams away from Bronny. So, over the last few months, Rich Paul, who is the agent of LeBron and Bronny James, has made an effort to part the concept that drafting Bronny James means you're getting LeBron. I do believe Bronny is going to opt out of his contract next month, and I do believe he's got several reasons why he wants to do that, and leaving the optionality for playing with Bronny is on the list, but I don't think it's at the top. I do think he's going to be back with the Lakers, and I also will say this. I think if the Lakers have the opportunity to draft Bronny James, they will do so, whether that's the 55th pick or if they make another deal around the draft where they pick up another pick. I think they will try. I do not think it's going to be their top priority, and I don't think the league right now is looking at this as draft Bronny James and you can get LeBron. I do think the league wants to hear from Bronny this week at the draft combine because nobody has heard from Bronny. LeBron has been his voice throughout his career, and the scouts believe that Bronny played out of position this year, and they think he actually might be better than what he's shown. So we're going to learn a lot more about Bronny in the next few days and next week or two, and then we're going to have the best chance to assess exactly what might happen. And this was per Brian Windhorst. Look, Bronny James, his stock is apparently rising by a lot of people that have been around the draft, that he's looked good in just his workouts as well as the little scrimmages and stuff. And he's starting to show that, like, hey, maybe there is something here with this kid. Now, I don't believe he's shown enough to now all of a sudden be a first round pick or something like that. I have talked about, like, I wouldn't be shocked if, a team kind of takes a flyer on him on the off chance, like, a team like, let's say Cleveland or, Boston or one of these teams that just have they have like a late pick where it's like, we're probably not going to really get anything anyway. And any rookie we draft is probably not going to play in this year or the next few years. So why not take a flyer on Bronny? Maybe 2-3 years from now, LeBron comes. Also, you got to think of the money, right? One, the money that Bronny would bring to a team, all the hype and just everything surrounding that. And then if LeBron were to come, even if LeBron was to come just like right before he retires, even if he's not the same guy he is now, still would bring a ton of money, ton of attention, ton of news. Like, there's owners out there that would probably see that as value. There's even talks about Utah seems to be pretty interested in drafting Bronny James, that might be a destination for him. I think somebody might take a flyer on him and draft him. Maybe, and look, maybe it is the Lakers. Maybe, I don't think LeBron leaves. I've said that from like this time last year. He's not going anywhere. He'll sign a new contract. He'll stick around. He'll kind of ride this wave. I wouldn't be shocked if, say he signs a 3-year deal, gets through the deal, and he goes, all right, I'm ready to hang it up. At that point, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes signs like a farewell tour with the Cavs or something, or, decides like, hey, let me go play with my son 1 year. Like, I do want to do that. Hey, Bronny, how do you feel about that? But even Bronny's talked heavily about how, like, he wants to carve his own path. He doesn't want to, he like, the last thing on his mind is playing with his dad. Right? He's talked about how, like, he just wants to get in the league, right? And he doesn't believe that, people are just going to draft him just because he's LeBron's son, right? Like, that he needs to show and prove, and he wants to show and prove. He wants to be his own guy. And I think that they should let him. And LeBron seems willing to kind of let that, right? You've heard LeBron kind of, release a little bit of like, all right, like, it's not that important. If Bronny wants to do it and I want to do it, I mean, he'll get to play against his son. That'll be pretty cool. But I get, like, LeBron, like, every father would want that, right? Like, what father wouldn't want to play with their kid on the same team in the NBA? Like, that's like, it's unheard of, right? So of course they would love that. And I'm sure Bronny to an extent would enjoy that and think it would be fun, but I'm sure that he also wants to carve his own path too. And it's why I said, even if LeBron does eventually have the intention to go play with his son, talked about this heavily, right? Like, literally in live streams, all kinds of stuff. What did I say? for those that remember, I said he's not going to go play with the son anytime soon. He's going to want to let his son marinate a little bit in the league and kind of figure his own stuff out and all that stuff. Now, obviously, if he's drafted by the Lakers, well, then that changes things, right? If the Lakers can figure out a way to get Bronny, or even if he goes undrafted, right? It's also possible that Bronny kind of just goes the Austin Reeves route, where let's say a team is willing to draft him, let's say 56th or 57th or something like that. And it's like, okay, like I could do that, or I could just, go the last two picks and just say no and be a free agent and then just go sign with the Lakers, right? So if Bronny goes undrafted, I believe he'll be a Laker. I think he'll sign a two-way with the Lakers as an undrafted guy, and then now he's retained. But I wouldn't be shocked because the Lakers are probably going to trade their 17th pick. Right? They have the 17th pick in the draft. That's more likely than not gone. Again, maybe they work something out to where they get another second round pick so they don't have to use the 55th pick on him, right? Maybe they get a little earlier pick, like let's say, 42nd or something like that. I don't even know who has the 42nd pick, but just throwing that out there, right? To where it's like, okay, we can draft Bronny and then we can draft somebody else with our 55th pick. I could see something along those lines happening, right? And then, if the Lakers can realistically land Bronny, I'm sure that they would want to. And I do think it would be good for the Lakers, Bronny and LeBron, for him to be on the Lakers, right? Because now, not only is he going to get, the NBA training and conditioning and, and be able to grow and develop and hone his craft, but now he's close to LeBron. That adds and has LeBron connections and clutch connections forever now at this point, because Bronny is going to be with the Lakers for probably at least 10 plus years, so yeah, look, whether we like it or not, LeBron and Clutch have a ton of influence, a ton of power in the league, right? So that's good that even post LeBron, LeBron's going to want to help his son. LeBron's going to want to kind of help persuade free agents to go to the Lakers, right? So it kind of keeps it in the family. And then also Bronny would have LeBron to constantly help and develop and grow and become better and better and better. Like, yeah, LeBron works with this kid now, but it's a lot harder when LeBron's training and doing his, X, Y, and Z, and his son's not in the league yet, where now once his son gets in the league, now LeBron can really, especially if he's on the Lakers, Bronny can just shadow LeBron 24/7, 365. We saw what happened with Rui this last year and the strides that he took just hanging out with LeBron for an offseason. Imagine if Bronny got to do that with LeBron for 2-3 years, right? To me, I think you're hearing a lot of noise about we heard for years that LeBron wants to play with Bronny, LeBron wants this, and now all of a sudden it's like, no, it's not that big of it. But for years it was a big deal. For years it was like your lifelong goal. And now it's like, no, I don't really care that much. And now Rich Paul is telling teams, and to me this sounds like when somebody's trying to force their way to a team. So it sounds like, Anthony Davis, right? When Anthony Davis came to Lakers, what happened, right? Teams like Boston and all these other teams were very interested in Anthony Davis, wanted to trade it for Anthony Davis. Rich Paul was going around telling all of them he's going to the Lakers. You can trade for him. We can't stop you from trading for him, but just know, hey, this is what's gonna happen. You saw it with Damian Lillard and stuff like that, right? The difference is that Bronny James isn't so good that teams are like the tactic won't work. Bronny is a big question mark and could end up being a waste of a pick for a team. All right, so it's not like he's this top 5 talent where it's like, oh man, like we don't care what you say, right? Bronny's so good, like this is our future. We don't need LeBron. We want Bronny. Right? The idea was that maybe we take a flyer on Bronny because it could potentially lead to LeBron. Now we got LeBron and Bronny. That's money, that's media, it's more than just basketball things too. Right? There's incentive beyond just basketball. So there was this incentive, and I could see a team kind of taking a flyer. But now some of these teams might go, well, if we're not going to get LeBron, like, why are we going to waste the pick on Bronny? That's the idea. That's the intention. That they're trying to kind of strong arm to get Bronny to be a Laker, which I get it. But Bronny, look, he's carving his own path. He's doing his own thing. He's been looking better and better, and really starting to make some strides at the combine and stuff, and in these scrimmages and stuff. Now, again, will he and has he done enough to take significant leaps? I don't think so. Right? Like, I think teams might be going, oh, maybe, are seeing a little bit more potential than they may have thought otherwise. But I don't think he's done enough to where it's like, oh man, now he's a top 20 pick, right? Like, no, I think teams are still looking at him as like, he's a fringe draft pick at that. Right? But, if he could go from being out of the bubble to, okay, now he's in the bubble, right? And if he is kind of like, wait, what if he doesn't want to be a Laker? What if he doesn't want to go with his dad? That's something else too. Like, it's very possible that Bronny's just like, dude, like, I want to go wherever I can go. I want to get drafted wherever I can get drafted. And you got to imagine that Bronny, one, wants to get drafted, and two, Rich Paul, and from a business side of things, probably wants him to get drafted also. Right? Now, if Bronny doesn't care and he's like, not like I care less if I get drafted or not. I'd love to be a Laker. I'd love to play with my dad momentarily, and then when my dad leaves, I can, stay with the Lakers. Like, if that's an actual destination for him and that's somewhere he actually wants to be and go, then, which he'd get to stay in LA, he gets to stay and have all his friends and everything that he has now. Like LA makes a lot of sense for Bronny if he's open to that. So to me, I also think it boils down to, what does Bronny want? Because if Bronny is like, yeah, if I'm going to be the 57th pick in the draft, like, I might as well just go undrafted and go sign with the Lakers, right? And then Lakers can do whatever they want, and then I can be the 15th man on the Lakers, whatever, right? Like, to me, that is something that I think could potentially happen. But either way, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But either way, I think this is just strong arm game. I think that they're just trying to kind of, nudge it the other way of like, hey, don't think you're just going to get them. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What do you think of Bronny? Do you think that, this is just strong arm game? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.